Hello and welcome, I am Tide and today we are starting our forever world. Well, as you've probably figured out by now, I headed up this mountain and the first thing that I found was this village. And considering this is, as you know, our forever world, I figured the best thing we could do is start out by maybe settling down with a few villagers and starting to build a town of our own. You can see quite clearly here we have this landscape that kind of arcs round. We have a bit of a bay. And I think we could terraform this really nicely. So I'm going to make my way down here and then we're going to check out this village. Well, good morning. So, as you saw, I went around the whole village, grabbed a few bits of wood, some hay, checked out the chests, and I think overall we made a pretty decent start on sort of just getting everything we needed from here and getting ready for sort of what we have to come. I also got my crafting table down in here and put my chest down in here as well. And I think this is going to be our house for now, and we're just going to use it as our kind of base of operations. Now, the next thing on my agenda is going to be mining, and I think we're going to get straight into the cave that I saw next to us, and just start to see how much we can get from down there. What do you want, buddy? Is this your house? Well, sorry to tell you, but it is mine now. Maybe I'll have to put a sign above it so he knows. And the sun is just starting to come up and we are going to go check out the mine over on this hill. I did leave all of the wood I had back in the chest, so I'm just going to grab a few more pieces to take down into the mine with me. And that should sort of set us up for any torches we need. And of course, we're going to be trying to upgrade our pickaxe as soon as possible. And I made it. First try. Definitely. So I'm just going to start grabbing some coal and a few bits of stone so that we can make a better pickaxe because we don't want to be using wood. And there's our cobblestone. Great. Alright, let's grab some coal. Now, I think my goal for today is going to be our starter house. Now, I don't know what this is going to look like yet, but I would like to finish this episode off with having built a starter house somewhere in the village. And I can see we have some iron here already, which is great. I can see some more coal as well under the water. Hopefully this is nope, just a 2 vein, but that's all right because we have some more here already. And we're just going to light this up before we go any further because the last thing we need is to have some mobs showing up. And we have the iron that we need here. So why don't we smelt this? Oh, no. Why can't I hit him back? No. Okay, baby zombies are not my friend. Let's go back down there. So I was absolutely prepared to deal with the rest of the zombies. What I didn't want to deal with was the baby zombie, who is now so much easier to hit. I don't understand it. Come on, don't get my tools. Where's my axe? Don't have it. They shouldn't come outside, right? Well, they will burn themselves. Oh, they're not fully outside yet. Right, my goal is going to be to just run past these ones and grab my axe wherever that is. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Alright, let's deal with these guys. There's so many of them. Phew. Right, at least that's done now. We can go back to what we were doing before. Now, sort of longer term, my thinking is since we've got this village, why don't we try to create a house for each of the different villager trading types? So I'm thinking we make a library for the librarian, a forge for the blacksmith, a tanning workshop for the leather maker, and so on and so forth, and sort of just clump them all together in their own respective houses. And we can give them space to roam, maybe name them, and slowly but surely we can create kind of a community for them all. Now, I'm not sure the style that I want to do that in. I have seen a few pieces of inspiration, and I've not played Minecraft for a fair few updates, and there are so many new block palettes that I have a feeling I'm going to need to try some of those newer blocks. We have started in an oak woodland, and we obviously have a lot of access to that. I think I also might have seen some sakura trees, so we could also go and just chop down a couple of those and get access to some new blocks that way. Of course, this update is all about copper, so we're going to have to use some copper blocks somewhere. And since we're getting so much now, I think it's only fitting if we try and put it in the build. However, I'm not too sure what else we want to use. I do like the stone and wood sort of look, and as you can see already down here, we have a ton of new stone blocks. They're not new, they've been here for a little while, but for me, I've never really built with them. And it could be really fun to do. So I've headed back round to our furnace, and I'm thinking, let's set up a second one. Let's just pop our iron in for now, and let's pop in, geez, we already have so much copper. Let's just pop some more in there. And I'm going to just quickly make 2 more furnaces so we can get all that copper smelted. And we can use it for some tools. There we go. Now we need to start thinking about what it is we're going to do for our base or house. And it just needs to be a starter house, so somewhere that we can call home. Realistically, it needs to have enough chests that we can store everything in. And I'm thinking maybe we go find somewhere to put it. Just go grab the rest of this while I'm here. Light this up in case we need to come back down. Light this up in case anything tries to spawn here. Let's head back outside. Well, I've headed up to where everything started, and I'm thinking maybe we put our starter house somewhere around here, and then we can branch around this way and around here, filling this area first, and then slowly moving around to the rest of this area. I'm going to quickly go grab everything, and then I will meet you back down there. here we are. I have just finished gathering up all the materials that we need for the starter base. In this chest here, I've put all of my stone, pieces of gravel, some of the moss blocks we've got. And in this chest, I have all of the different woods. I know it's not sorted very well, but we will be using that very shortly to build our first home. And I also have a few decorative pieces in here, and I have even managed to weather some of the copper pieces. So I'm going to get started momentarily. And I think for the starter house, I have a few ideas in mind that I would like to do. I want it to be fairly small to start with. And one of the builds that I've seen that I think might be right for us is from a creator called Shera Nom, and I will tag her channel below. And there's a base that I just think would be great here, and potentially we could use some of that inspiration around the wider village. Well, we have finished our starter house. And as you can see, I have tried to follow Sharonom's build as close as I could. However, I have added a few tweaks and I've sort of gone off piste on a few areas just where I didn't know how it was set up or I wasn't entirely sure on the actual build design. So on the right hand side here, we have a couple sheep living outside in a pen with a spruce tree that I attempted to make. The first time round, I didn't quite put enough leaves down here and it did look a little bit top heavy, but we sorted that out. And then we have the house here where we obviously have our fireplace here with our two chimneys. And then if we actually go into the build or into the house, we have a little bit of pale moss as our carpet. We've got 4 chests here, which I am hoping to add some item frames to in the future, or potentially just use for some storage for the time being. We have a lot of barrels around here as well, and our brewing stand, which we got a little while back. And here we also have the interior of the furnace, or the fireplace, with the furnaces at the bottom. A little crafting area with some barrels used to... Didn't quite realize how loud those sheep were going to be when I put them there. I hope they don't keep me up at night. Up here we have a lovely double bed. Just be careful not to hit your head on the ceiling. A chest for any important goodies. And that's about it. One thing I did notice is that while I was building this, I was really struggling with my tools, and having copper tools is just not ideal. So I'm thinking the next thing we might want to do is actually go and get some diamond tools. The other thing that I'm kind of contemplating building is a farm, because as you may have also noticed, I am getting very, very low on food. And I'm a little bit worried that we are going to start running out. In fact, we already kind of are. So it may be a case that we do both. We can go get some diamond tools, and in the meantime, I might try and set up some farms around here. I think as a whole, everything's worked out pretty smoothly. We just have a couple more bits in there, so I will grab those, and then, well, let's head down to the mine. have been very busy, and as you might have seen, we did end up dying in the nether. However, we managed to get a bunch of mining done, as we said we were going to. I now have the diamonds that I need to create my diamond pick, which I do have in a chest securely stored. I have enough for our enchanting table when we get it, and I have enough obsidian for the enchanting table. I've also been working on this farm, which I'm going to slowly but surely expand, and hopefully this will give us enough food to kind of get by and move on to my next goal. Now, for anyone wondering, I did try to get what I had back from the nether. However, considering I don't have a lot as it stands, going up against all of the piglins was not a good idea with absolutely nothing, and I died again. However, we didn't actually lose too much, and we're in a pretty good spot to get started on some new tasks. So obviously we have made this little farm. We have our beetroots, our wheat, we have a little bit of carrots and some potatoes, I believe. The nether portal over there, which, oh no, I did not mean to upset you. God. Oh, he was low anyway. Well, that was interesting. And I also made a little mine shaft down here, which I'm really happy with. I sort of extended the path a little bit around here and opened this up so that we have an entrance to our mine. It's just pretty simple for now, but hopefully we will eventually end up furnishing all of this and creating a way down. There's a pretty big sort of chasm down there, which I still need to explore fully. However, I want to hold off on that until we have the Fortune 3 pickaxe. So my goal at the minute is to start breeding these guys, because we need a lot of leather. Now, they did just make a path, but yeah, they're ready to make some more. I'm going to keep breeding these guys for a little while, and hopefully, won't take too long, but we'll have all the leather we need. The next thing is we're obviously going to need paper. Now, I think back this way we actually got some sugar cane in the beginning. Yeah, I can see it there. So I'm going to bring that back towards the base and start expanding that. Because we're going to need a lot of this. Specifically for the enchantment area. We'll also need it for villager trading. And I think I saw a little bit more around here too. So I'm going to line the entire shore with this for now. And then at some point we'll actually make a farm just for this. Oh, didn't want to put that there. Didn't even know you could. Right, there we go. We'll let that keep growing, and hopefully that's going to help us get a little bit of paper. So these things kind of need to tick along, and we can't do too much about that. However, we can either venture back into the nether, try and do something about what we lost, or alternatively, we can keep working on our farm, which I think is what I want to do. Keep expanding it and keep adding to it. I've been quite lucky that this village seems to have a lot of villagers already, even though they are certainly choosing to use my home over their own. And I have obviously had to evict the person who lived here earlier on. But we will eventually be making them all a new set of houses, so it won't be too long and they will get a home of their own. Yeah. If anyone knows what beetroots are actually for, let me know, because I've been growing these, but when I was eating them, they didn't seem to do much for my health, other than I think they restore maybe 1. They just seem bad. I'm not sure if they're used for a specific animal for breeding, or if there's a way to make them better. I tried cooking them, but Yeah, it didn't seem to do anything. Now I need to grab a hoe and a water bucket. Added a little trapdoor here with the crafting table behind it because I realised having the crafting table upstairs was not actually very useful. Well, I made a start on all of the farming. Just going to expand a little bit more. And I've also got a bunch of blocks on me because I will show you guys what I'm kind of thinking of doing next. After we get this farm expanded, as I have mentioned, we do want to work on some villages. And I've kind of laid out the initial concept of where I want to put everything. And I'm hoping it's all going to work out as we want. So let me just replant these and then I'll take you guys over there. Here's one of the initial outlines. It's not the entire length. Essentially what I was thinking is maybe around here, extending a little bit further and extending all the way to the end of here. We have our villager trading hall, so it's right by the house. We can come straight in here and start trading. And then all the way down here, I was thinking we could have a villager breeding house. And I've kind of designed it, or at least the layout of it, to have one kind of room here with a bunch of beds. I'm not sure if there's a better way to do this. There's probably automatic farms for villager breeding, and I might have to check those out. But essentially an area for them to breed, and then an area to send a minecart in and back into here to try and collect one. And then once they're in here, we can send them over there. So that's what I was thinking. And my goal is going to try and at least make the villager breeder by the end of this episode, because what I would like to really focus on next episode is the trading itself and all of our farms. So let me expand this farm as much as we can, and then we will get straight back to dealing with these. That was all very quick. We managed to upgrade the wheat field a little bit. Now, I think it is time for us to tackle the villager breeder. We can make it with an automated farm. We just need a couple of beds. We do need a farmer as well, so yoink. I'm hoping this is far enough away that it's not going to impact anything else. Just need to quickly check how big of an area we need. We're just going to fill this in with dirt and start planting our carrots so we understand where everything needs to go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, so this side gets an extra one. And this is going to be our hole, I assume. And we're going to need to go down at least 2. If we go down a third, pull them up. Can you pull them up? Am I just imagining this? Here we go. And there. He's in. We do need to get rid of his job block. He did live in here, so potentially there's a job block here. I think this might be his. Has he... He's still got a job. Oh wait, he's a fisherman, isn't he? He's probably got one of the barrels at my house. Barrel. Look, it's your fault that we can't have nice things, okay? Thank you. I'll have my barrel back. Yeah? You've all got to get out. There's more. Oh, did I do the entire floor? How do you still have a job? I've removed 15 barrels from this place. Okay, let's go find his barrel. Well, we finished the farm. We didn't manage to find the barrel, and this guy is still a fisherman. I'm recording this the following morning, so if my voice is a little different, yeah, don't mind. However, essentially, I think the farmer might have had a few different seeds, as you can kind of see. I gave him carrots to begin with, but he has planted some wheat and some beetroots as well, so I'm not sure where they have come from. He's clearly got his hands on them. Oh. And yeah, I'll show you guys how this all works. So down here, you can see we've got a couple villagers that have, obviously, when the farmer's been giving out the food, they then breed up here, and then you're left with a baby villager, which drops down just under that trapdoor I keep jumping on. And from what I can tell, everything is done here. So now we need to kind of think about the next steps for building this area and what we want to do, and how we're just going to tie it into the rest of the build. Down here specifically as well, we need to add in the minecart system, so it's going to take them up to the top. I'm thinking that we add a dispenser for this, so that the dispenser will drop a minecart onto the tracks, and then it will bring them up through from down here. So the minecart will actually come underneath one of the blocks, and when it sort of clips past them, I think it should grab them on the way. And then what that will do is transport one of them up to the surface, and we're ready to take them over to the trading hall. And yeah, that's it. We just need to get on to building the rest of it now.
Superstar disco, and we can ride looking like a super fly disco, and you can ride this though, and we can fly disco, and you can ride looking like a super fly disco. We can ride this though, the superstar disco, and we can ride looking like a super fly disco, and you can ride this though, and we can fly disco, and you can ride looking like a super fly disco.
As you can see, I've put on the roof and added a couple bars and a couple trapdoors down here, so you can see into the farm and see the villagers while they're at work. Overall, I've tried to keep it in style with the rest of the build, and down here you'll see we've already got a villager in the minecart system. A bunch more have been breeding as well, so we've got everyone almost ready for the trading hall. Just going to cover this back up and show you the rest of the track. So here is how the minecart gets down. Essentially the minecart just goes on there, gets pushed in. We've also got the bedroom here, and you can see inside here, just into the farm as well. Let's take you out to see the back now. So around here I've added a lot of leaves. I didn't really like the stark white look of the build, so I've tried to cover it up a little bit, and I think the leaves look really good. I might return to the roof at some point because it does feel a little bit wide, but overall I'm pretty happy with it, and I think it's going to help us now when we start to move on to the villager trading hall. And well, we have the villagers we need, so really now it's going to be time to figure out where we want it, and I think we're going to go put it over here towards my house to just keep it as far away from here as possible. I don't want it to impact any of the spawn rates, and hopefully that's going to help us with the next part of what we want to get done, which is getting some trades done and trying to get some diamond gear and also some enchanted gear. So I'm going to head over and start on that. See you soon. I've been mining for a few minutes and I've just noticed something. We are getting some major lag spikes in certain directions down here. Now, I've really been looking for the cause of it, and I can't find it anywhere, but I think maybe next episode I'm going to come down here and we're going to try and find what's causing it. I'll try and show you here. It's just whenever I turn around, certain angles clearly aren't loading something, so we'll be returning to this definitely in the future, but for now, I'm going to go back to mining. I'm not sure if this was the problem. However, I have found a skeleton spawner, and I've made note of the coordinates for this just so that we can come back to it. I'm not going to dig fully up to the surface at this point, but I think at some point we'll make a little drop in here and we can get ourselves a little bit of an XP farm going. And specifically, this will help us with any arrows we need and bones, hopefully. And still trying to find the main cause of any of the lag spikes I've seen. However, I'm not too sure where they're coming from, and the main point of this was just to get all of the bits that we need for the villager trading hall. So I'm using it as kind of an excuse to gather up some ores, but overall the main goal is obviously to get all of the deep slate and the cobble that we need for the roof of our trading hall. So I'm going to get that finished, and I'll meet you guys back up top where we can start building. See you soon. Welcome back. I have officially finished the villager trading hall. You may have seen I also took down a few of the villager houses around here, and I went back and touched up the villager breeder. So everything is feeling really nice and connected. I think the building style is coming together. I visited the nether at the very end just to grab some glowstone. I turned these into a couple of redstone lights with the redstone that we got from mining. These guys haven't been locked in just yet, but this guy is our paper trader. And this guy is our mending book. These guys are our farmers, and we haven't filled this side just yet. I'm going to wait for a little bit later on to do that. I've also added a couple basic bits up here, such as some chests, furnaces, a bed, and crafting tables. Now, let's head outside because those guys are a little bit loud in there. I haven't been super organized with all my chests, so there are a fair few bits lying around. And as we head over here, you'll see the roof that I've amended for the village breeder. I've also taken out the access to the rail system for now. However, at some point I will make that automated with a dispenser. I figured the roof before was just slightly too wide, so I really wanted to come in here and just pull it back a few blocks and add in another roof that turned and came out this side. I wasn't sure how to match it with this bit being slightly longer, so I've tried my best and I think it works for now, so I'm happy enough with that. Up here again we have a few amenities such as some chests. We have a bunch of bits just dumped in here from when we were building. And I have one last thing to show you guys before we wrap things up for this first episode. So after I finished this and I finished this, I decided to take the gold that I got from mining, and I crafted myself some boots, and I headed back into the nether one final time. And I believe it is all in here, but as you'll see, we have got ourselves a dried ghast. A few ender pearls as well. But this is going to be something that I do in the next episode. So we're going to get ourselves a happy ghast. We're going to do a bunch of trading, and for that, we're going to set up a load of automated farms. I'm thinking we might make a kind of windmill over here, extend the wheat field, and then in this chunk we will dig down and fill it with a bunch of automated pumpkin farms, automated sugarcane farms, maybe some cactus farms, just things that we can use to trade with these guys. And at that point, I think we'll be in a really good place for getting our levels for enchanting. And we should also be able to start getting some more villagers over here so that I can trade for some diamond armor. We do have a few diamonds that I got while we were in the mine. I think they're in here. Yeah, we have 21. I also did get a couple music discs while I was in the mine earlier, so we have those to play with, and I did make myself a jukebox. So that is where we're at, and I just love this when you come outside. The look of the villager trading hall, the overgrown bits here with all the leaves. I need to add a few more to this, but I think overall I like this style that we've got going on for the town. And as time goes on, we can keep expanding, we can take down these old houses, and we can really get this looking exactly how we want. So if you watched this far, thank you very much. I hope you liked the video. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.